All right, good evening. Hello and good evening, everybody out there in Cyberland. All right, my friends, it is 5 o'clock, and we are going to get going with the day's events. So, you know how I always do it. I am on the road to wowing rooms. So, here we go. Always got to start with the recap. And we've been at this 4 weeks now. This week five. This week five, everybody. And the things that we're not going, labor this, but we're just going to definitely talk about some of the things that we've already discussed, which have been whatever you pursue begins to crystallize your dreams and your visions. Write the vision, make it plain. Vulnerability. Mm, we all face it. We all face it at some point in our life. So, by all means, get in tune. Get in tune. Don't let it stop you, though. And last week's notes was what was we talking about last week? Raise your hand, my peeps. Anybody? Anybody? I'm just kidding. No, but last week we were talking about walking in defeat. Are you walking in defeat? Many people are. Many people are walking in defeat. They don't know it yet, but they just know that this can't be right. There's got to be more. But they're out here walking in defeat. So this week we're going to discuss. Y'all see it. That's the topic right there. As a society, we see failure to be detrimental to our success. Lots of people feel that way. So, my question for tonight is, are you willing to fail to succeed? That's the question, guys. Tonight, there it is right there. Question for tonight. Are you willing to fail to succeed? Yeah, no. Not too many people are willing to do that. No, not at all, actually. Why? It's embedded in our DNA that if you fail, it's a wrap for you. But that's not the case. Hmm. But, anyways, I digress. So, I'm going to start open with the book by Price Pritchard called You Squared. If you guys are not familiar, get in tune with it. It's a very good book, You Squared. Once you start reading it, you'll be like, oh my God, is that what's really happening? Yes, it is. It's a good book. A lot change your mind, change your heart. You got to do something. So, anyways, what he says is, unless you allow yourself to make mistakes to fail, you will never have the opportunity to test the limits of what you truly are capable of accomplishing. You have to acknowledge that if you have no problems, you have no pain, you have probably aimed too low, or you have become stagnant in your growth, which means you're far from reaching your limits. Come on, guys. The sky is the limit. Right now, time is a ticking and we are all getting older. I'm just saying, live your best life while you can live it. You don't want to get to that day and be like, I shoulda, coulda, woulda. Oh, it's too late, friend. You about to give up the ghost, and we don't want that to happen. So we want you to live a full, abundant life. Yes, but it's gonna have to do something. You have to do some mindset work. That's for all of us, because I'm still on that road. Like me doing this, sweet peas and collard greens. Who would have thunk it, right? But anyways, similarly, I read an article in Forbes written by Anna Powers. Y'all, I always put a link in the chat so y'all could go and download that so that you can look up what it is that I'm talking about. But anyways, in this article written by Anna Powers, she articulates that failure can be painful and can be and is. It is. Nobody wants to fail. Who wants to fail? I don't want to fail. You want to fail? Nobody wants to fail. It's innately put in there. You don't want to fail. But what she says is the majority of us avoid it at all costs. However, through failing, it will allow you to unlock your greatest potential. We should use our failures as a tool for our success that refines our path to see what works and what does not. Yeah, who remembers that? There's a lesson in that. I think my mama used to tell me that. Hopefully you learned your lesson. And did. Sometimes I didn't. And I did it again. Same exact way. I'm just saying. Oh, goodness. That's so good, y'all. Anyways, I'm going to go on with a story. Story time. I remember there was this time, because we're talking about failure. So just so that we don't lose focus here, we are talking about failures and how you can use it to propel you or just sit in it and just do nothing more. But anyways, I'm going to move along. I remember a time during my sped career teaching, I had this scholar. I had this one particular scholar who was a conundrum to me. I mean, he caused me grief. I don't know why, but there was something about it. It was something I couldn't put my finger on, but I knew that I was going to succeed in helping this scholar out. Well, anyways, we're going to call him John Boy for the sake of storytelling. He had many issues with controlling his emotions. This joker would burst out. He would be hollering and screaming, running, touching people, all kind of stuff. He just couldn't get right. Just for the love of God, he couldn't get right. I always knew that he was a clever young man. He was a very clever young man. Sometimes just sitting talking to him, he was very witty. But he struggled to the high heavens. All of the teachers had complaints about this little fella. All of them. It had gotten so bad for John Boy. He would take off running from his classes like a bolt of lightning. Pew! I mean, sweet peas and collard greens. He was a quick little booger. But to make a long story short, he ended up with a BIP. And for those of you out there who don't know what a BIP is, it's an acronym for a behavior intervention plan. So this was I put it together for him because he was doing the absolute most based on what I thought was eating Gilbert Grape and causing him to act all types of crazy. So I put the plan in place. And for those of you who know, in sped land, listen, it's supposed to be a team effort, but the way our situation be a lot of times, you about to write that plan on your own, ain't you? Yep, you sure are. I'm just saying. So anyways, I put together a plan of what I thought would help him get on the straight path. In a perfect world, it would have just worked. But it didn't. I failed. So I thought. Because I was really good at reading the kids, really good at trying to figure out what would help them out, really good at bringing order to the situation. But this particular kid, yeah, it didn't work out. It didn't work out that way. And to me, I took it to heart because it was like I failed. How did that happen? Because there was still more complaints. I could still see him running up and down the hall. I could still see these things. And with the antidote that I gave, it didn't work. So now I'm thinking in my mind, these people going to think I don't know what I'm doing. Oh my God, why is he not acting right? Oh my goodness, what are we going to do? This thing really bothered me, y'all. Listen, it bothered me for a long time. So much so that I took a day to follow this kid. Oh my goodness, if stalker was a person, listen, why am I telling you that? Because I didn't know what I thought I knew. So this particular day, I done followed this kiddo to his classroom. I followed him to recess. I followed him to lunch. I followed him to dismissal. I followed him wherever he went in the school. I was looking to see if I could find a pattern to see why things went awry. I was going to win at all costs. That's what I was going to do. To sum up this story time, what I thought was the issue really wasn't the issue. Yes, he did have some underlying currents, but what I put in place didn't work out because that wasn't the issue. That wasn't the problem. This little fella, because of some other conditions that he had, he struggled with getting friends. He would do what he did because he was looking for friends. OMG. Once I realized that that was the case, my plan was tweaked so that I could give him the skills that he needed to get those friends the right way without causing people to want to pull their hair from the root. I'm just right, just pull it right out. So I had to do that. But it didn't stop me from feeling like a failure, that I had failed a kid, that I had failed my colleagues, that I had failed myself, because it was like, wait a minute, Dr. Scott, now come on, you normally, you right on top of that. But this particular kid, he was that conundrum. I ended up having to work with him the whole entire year, but I gave him the skills that he needed to succeed. So I tell you that failure should be used as a tool to your success. Now, I could have said, I don't know what's wrong with him. Y'all need to figure something else out. And I could have just sort of kind of removed myself from the situation. But because of how competitive I am, and I don't even know why I'm in competition with myself, because there was nobody else that I was being in competition with. This is some competition with myself. And I'm like, look, in another one, I win. In another one, I win. But ultimately wanting my students to win. And when I noticed that he wasn't really winning, I felt like I had failed until I decided to really figure him out. So thanks be to God, though, we did figure out that there was some other issues going on, but still the skills that I taught him and the skills that I taught the teachers that were working with him helped him in the long run. So I just want to tell you all, listen, just because a kid got a BIP don't mean this not no Najee Ramba, sugar, abracadabra. Listen, many of us want kids to just stop being who they are. We want people to just stop. We want people to do things imperfect when we ourselves are not perfect. But we want them kids, y'all, shut up, be quiet, hush it. Nobody should be talking. But you got me sitting here for 45 minutes and I'm only 6 on the carpet. Bye, Felicia. I'm just saying. But we want them to stop. Stop it, opposed to reshaping it. Now, there's some things we got to stop. I'm not even going to kid you on that. I'm not even going to hold you. In the words of my niece, Harmony, I ain't even going to hold you, Tosh. I ain't even going to hold you. But listen. There are some things that need to be stopped, but then there are some things that should be reshaped, because when we're trying to stop everything about a kiddo, you don't know what it is you're ultimately crushing. So you got that kid that's always exploring. I call it the explorer. They always digging in something, always looking at something, taking something apart. Please don't crush them. Please don't crush their spirits. You do not know what engineer you're crushing. How can we cultivate that? Now, there's a way we can reshape it. Get at your girl. Anyways, I'm not going to keep you guys forever tonight. I really am going to do my best to get up out of here at 15 minutes. But the overall message tonight is failure is inevitable. What you do after you fail dictates the mountaintops you will climb. Please, I get it. It's ingrained. If you failed, then something must be wrong with you. Ain't nothing wrong with you. Good night. Think about all the billionaires out here who failed at their inventions, but yet we still using them. That part. But they had to fail. Don't beat yourself up, educators, administrators, parents. Don't beat yourself up. Oh, I failed. That thing that I tried didn't work. Okay, we're going to try it again. And now I'm going to talk to myself. Talk to yourself, Tasha. Talk to yourself, Dr. Scott. And I'm talking to myself right now, because there's something that I am right now actively actively doing that I'm looking like this math ain't mathing, but I refuse to quit. So it feels like, are you about to fail? No. And if I do, guess what? I'm taking notes. Where did it go wrong? And I can't say that I've always done that, but now I am taking them notes. Well, I always leave you guys with a call to action, a CTA. Go ahead and hit share. It don't cost you nothing. I'm so grateful for all of you who have shared my page. And y'all see that I have this new ticker up here. Go ahead and pull out your device and scan it. Go ahead. Follow me on my link tree. Get me. Get at your girl. I leave you guys with that, and then I'll see you all next week. Next week, I believe I'll probably be filming elsewhere. I gotta go on some trips, but you all have the most amazing evening. Remember, failure is going to happen. What you do with it determines your latitude. Have a good night, friends.